I'm Sareea Freeman, and I got next.
And we are back. That's right. I am your host, the Mouth of the South, B. Jones. I am rocking alongside my co-host, my brother in crime, my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, KT. And we are the hosts of Sports Life Talk. And you have just stepped foot into the You Got Next series, where Kevin and I have devoted our every full inch and breath of life you outstanding and phenomenal stories of rising superstars in any type of industry and genre. And once again, we have hit a home run and landed a superstar. We got a great story for you guys coming up. But before we get to Miss Freeman here on the microphone, we got to pay the bills. If you are rocking with us for the first time, we sincerely appreciate it. But we got one favor to ask of you. We got to keep this energy going. We got to keep the momentum. So on the count of three, in true fact, like a family do, we need you to smash that subscribe button. 1, 2, 3. Boom. That feels good. That feels liberating. Now you just signed up for all kind of amazing content and shows just like this excellent one that you were about to rock with us for the next 30 or 40 minutes. But without further ado, you love to hear the Mouth of the South talk, but this ain't about me. I introduce you. I did that to irritate Kevin. That's right. Florida State's alumni, professional volleyball player in the building, been all around the world, hailing from Fresno, California, the smile that sunk 1,000 ships. We got Sareea Freeman in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Sareea, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We doing good. We just blessed right now. I'm just feeling the energy. I'm feeling this low-key vibe. I'm feeling this deep emotional connection with life right now because you have a story and it is a phenomenal one that I know the fans are going to thoroughly enjoy. Sareea, before we give you the mic, I got to do my due diligence, right? This didn't happen overnight. We built this Sports Life Talk dynasty on some principles and some foundations. You out of everybody I know can respect that. So here we go. We got to take you through the initiation. Kevin, do the honor, sir.
Yes, sir. On behalf of the Florida Gators, I would like to initiate you into the SLT family, but you got to answer these questions first. All right. So give us your top 5 hip hop artists.
All right. So I like her. I like Jasmine Sullivan, Little Baby, Megan Thee Stallion, and I think 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐿. I think that's his name. That's the one 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐿. That's the new one that I'm.
You know, I just no one that 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐿. No, it's Masego. They all sound alike. All right, so give us your favorite sports team.
Hold on, Kev. I got to give her a shout out though, real quick, because you know, I was doing research on them and I was scrolling through. You know, that's how we do. We get stalkerish when we try to find out about these people that we bringing on the show. And she had a track on there. She had a gospel song featuring Nicki Minaj, and I wouldn't immediately played it for my wife. And I think that whole day we was bouncing to that gospel song based off of Sareea's recommendation. So I got to give a shout out. She know good music, man.
Yes.
So
yes. And I felt like when I posted that too, it was like right in the middle of the pandemic, and I was like, I just need some positivity, and I just like made a video with that.
Hey, Sareea, remember I'm the one that gave you the props, right? So just remember that for later in the show.
And I'm the one that reached out to you.
A favorite. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, you suck up. Okay, so B. Jones, you know,
you came to the Gators, so you already knew you was gonna be.
I can go change. I can do better. I apologize. All right, so what's your favorite sports teams?
Also, because I'm gonna go and see with that too. Can we do players? Because
Yeah. This is all
okay.
you.
Yeah, so Katie is like my fave. I've been a huge fan of him for a very, very long time and actually have a little crush on him. So Katie. I also like Giannis, Dame, Jimmy Butler. I've been a favorite. He's been a favorite of mine for a very long time. Like when he was in Chicago, before he even I feel like got the clout, you know what I'm saying, that he rightfully so deserves. And one more. Let me try to see if I can find one that I really like. Actually, like there's an underrated one. 𝐥𝐤𝐤. I always liked him. I played 2K back in college, and I always like to play with him because he could shoot. So yeah.
Hey, now I gotta challenge you a little bit on this KD thing. Now, I'm
Are you a LeBron fan? Here we go.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'2.5", so you can say 6'3". Sometimes I say 6'2", sometimes I say 6'3".
We're gonna say 6'3". We're gonna say 6'3". Okay, because KD about 6'10". He about 6'9", 6'10". Now let me ask you this question, because I know you like him, you got a crush on him, but does he not come off emotional to you? I mean, it's like every time I see KD, it's like he kind of in his feelings. I don't know. You vibing with that? You feeling that?
I don't feel like he's in his feelings. I feel like Katie is like very much kind of like stuck in his ways. Like he knows how he is, and he has so much confidence in himself, and that he demands like everyone else to respect him as such, and not like put him as or make him feel like less than. And I think that's really admirable. Yeah, that's probably that's kind of the demeanor I get. I don't see him as emotional or anything. I mean, he may got a little scuffle last night or whatever, but
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Nah, hey, I'm gonna tell you this though. He a bad boy. He one of the best players in the game. He one of the best basketball players on the face of the earth. Regardless if I don't like him as a person, like as a personality, I love his game. I love watching him play. So.
And B. Jones, what I would love if you let me get through this initiation without you.
I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time, man. My bad, man.
Man, I'm giving you a hard time. So,
don't.
That's why I don't like you. The last question I have for you is, who is your favorite superhero and why? Well, it's a two-part, so just give me that one right now.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go with Wonder Woman right now. That may change, but I'm not a really big superhero person, but I think just women have to be strong, and just the strength that she resembles. I think that's what I'm going to lean to for today.
All right, so every superhero needs their own theme music. So what would your theme song be?
My theme song was outside of Wonder Woman is I Can Have It All right now. The 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐿 song that just came out. That's my favorite song. So I'm going to go with that. One of my also favorite songs, I'm a big Tupac. Grew up in Cali, so grew up on that music as well. And, I went through, I think you gotta keep your head up, I believe is the song, or keep your head up. It's the song. That was like the song that got me through a lot of tough times as a kid. So those are probably my two favorite songs.
All right, B. Jones, I think she's in the family. I know you can't. I know you can't wait to talk, B. Jones, so go ahead, do your thing.
No, you know what? This is the part of the show where it get kind of emotional, right? Because one thing I've learned, if you Kevin, you're a big fan of superheroes, right? Yes, every single superhero has an origin story, and what I notice is most superheroes, they get their powers from something extremely bad happening to them. No matter, Superman planet was destroyed, Spider-Man was attacked by a rogue spider. It's always something that creates these superheroes. And Miss Freeman has a very similar story, right? Before she became this phenom, she had to kind of go through the sands, the burning sands, and really go through some tough times. And so I hate to start off on such an emotional note, but I don't think it would be fair to tell your story without touching on the homelessness and some of the things you went through as a kid. Tell us a little bit about your story and how you plan on using your platform to tell and help other people through the struggle similar to yourself.
Obviously, like my story is very, very long, but just kind of, putting through the details a couple pinpoint details through my life. You know, so I grew up in Fresno, very like heavily gang related and drug related. I grew up in poverty there. It kind of all started when my mom ended up losing her job. Then we were living in my apartment without electricity and heat. And then from there we got evicted. And then that got us living in the car. I was in the car for a couple of months. I decided this is like, yeah. And I remember it being cold. It was like basketball season, like maybe like November, December. I remember it being cold and we would have to like turn on the ignition at night when it got really cold to get ready to make some heat in the car, and then like sleeping in different parking lots each night because my area that I lived in was very like police patrolled because it's, you know, it was just an active area. And so we didn't want the car, like my mom was always like, they didn't want the car to be in one spot where the police would come and bother us because it's been there too long or whatever. We didn't want to be noticed. So we would kind of like rotate parking lots and also rotate places where I got dressed for school in the morning. So sometimes it's Walmart bathroom or Walgreens and, you know, different places like that. The airport, because the airport wasn't that far from where I stayed. So, or where I was staying at my area. So that's kind of like that situation. It was a couple of months. And honestly, like I was a really shy kid. So a lot of the people I went to school with didn't know, like even some of my best friends didn't know. I was pretty shy, and my mom was also a very private person, and she always kind of instilled that into me as well as, you know, not everybody need to know your business, the typical Black mother. And so that's kind of pretty much it. I mean, I got through that. I made the decision to move out of, or to leave my mom in the homeless situation because my back was killing me. I was just, you know, I was growing. And like we were sleeping in like a 𝐥𝐤 Metro car. I don't know if you remember those cars.
Yeah, those
like,
small.
Like eggs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like I'm saying, we left everything in my apartment. I mean, in our house, and all I could take was a couple like bags, you know, that could fit in the trunk for clothes. And so I would just like rotate my clothes, and those cars, like the seat didn't lay down flat. It kind of like went at an angle, like kind of like this, I guess you can say. Like it didn't go all the way flat. And I just remember my back was killing me. I was playing basketball. My back was just hurting me in practice. And that's when I asked my mom if I can go stay with my grandmother. And then I went and lived with her, and she had no idea about like anything that we were going through. Like my mom had never told her. And so like my mom, she knew that we were struggling because I would call her for food sometimes when we didn't have power. And so she knew that my mom was going through a tough time, but she didn't know it was to that extent or had that got that bad. And so obviously she took me in, and I stayed there. And then maybe a couple weeks or a month later, my mom finally came and joined us in my grandmother's house. And so from there on, my mom lived with my grandmother. My grandmother pretty much raised me. My mom went through a couple mental issues and like her own individual struggles with depression and everything. So my grandmother just kind of took the realm and, you know, raised me to be this big-hearted adult that I am now. And so, so that's pretty much my little piece. And I guess like what really got me through that was wanting more for myself. And like, I think I was shy, so I was very observant, and I kind of saw, you know, what was around me, and I didn't want that to be my life. And so I just made a conscious decision that I wanted to change it, and I wanted to be able to give back and help my grandmother, you know, because she raised 5 kids, and here she is raising me, you know. And so, I think that's the root of the foundation of why I decided that I wasn't gonna get caught up in any of that. Like, you know, people usually drink and like smoke like while they're in high school. I didn't touch anything. Like when I say I was so disciplined, like I just poured everything into school. I was in leadership, took honors, AP classes, did volleyball, basketball, and track. I just did track just because I didn't want to go home. Like my mom and my home life just wasn't something that I wanted to go home to every day. So I just kind of like poured everything into school. And And that's how I made it out, honestly, just discipline, because I didn't have anybody, like my mom and my dad, I didn't have anybody really to like make sure I was going to school and make sure I was going to practice. Like that was
that's what I was going to
all
ask
motivated
you.
by me. Yeah.
So that's what I was going to ask you. So it sounds like this is a heavy burden for a kid. I get an adult. It sounds like it sounds like your mom was going through some mental issues, which I'm glad that we have things like mental health awareness, because especially in the African American community, we don't do a good enough job of a good job of observing mental health issues. We always just feel like keep it private. Nobody wants to hear it, or we just say, oh, they just crazy. You know what I mean? And we blow it off. We blow it off. And so I'm kind of glad.
Even like our own people even neglect it. It's not just like everybody else. It's even our own culture. Like we don't want to deal with it.
Big. For us as African Americans, it was unheard of for you to go see a therapist, or do you go see a psychologist or a psychiatrist and really be diagnosed and help. And people are like, they extra. But trust me, that's serious. So who did you? Because I'm assuming, and I know you were strong, but were there coaches? You had a lot of coaches. Was there a mentor or someone that you kind of latched on to, that you gravitated to, that kind of gave you words of encouragement and pushed you?
Yes and no. Like when I was going through the homeless part of my life, there was really nobody there and nobody I really shared that with. However, when I got into high school and I started to, get tall, be good, my dad was a legacy in Fresno, California. And so once they realized I was Renee Freeman's daughter, then they wanted, the black school wanted me, there was like the black school where all the athletes went to on the west side, which is like even worse worse than I grew up. And so, they wanted me to go there, and it was just too far. I took the city bus to and from school every day. And so having to go all the way across town would have just made my days so much longer. And so I think, I don't know, I was a very self-efficient kid, and I think it was because I really hated being on my grandmother. I think, I had two living parents, and my grandma would never say I was, never, but I always felt like a burden. And so I always wanted to take anything off of her. So taking me to school, I'm on the city bus, you know what I'm saying? Picking me up from practice and stuff, I would take the city bus home. Sometimes I would walk. There's only a certain amount of times that I would call her and try to it's after a basketball game and the bus would stop running or something like that. Those are the type of situations where I would call her. But I was really adamant about I would sell candy at my high school so I could have lunch money. I was a hustler. I really did.
I'm about to say that's awesome.
I didn't want to ask her for anything. I was just like, you know what? As long as she puts a roof over my head and I can have something to eat. I don't want to have anything extra. Basketball shoes, volleyball shoes, all the extra stuff that I have to pay for. I hustled for that. And so that's how I paid for it. And then whenever I came up short, I would call my dad. And then my dad would just throw me some money, or at the very least I would ask her. I hated asking her. And so I guess going back to your question about who kind of came into my life, my sophomore year of high school, I was playing. I actually didn't make my freshman volleyball team, believe it or not. So I was about 5'11", maybe 6 foot around there. I don't know, maybe 5'10". It was my first year, so maybe 5'10". But I was pretty tall, and I didn't make my volleyball team, and so I just played basketball. And then I ran into my cousin, and my cousin actually went to a different school, but she came from she has both of her parents in her house. She comes from a different life than me, and so she was just you're tall, you need to play volleyball. Here's some volleyball, come to this volleyball tryout. And she gave me this flyer or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. So, and I went to the volleyball tryout. I actually showed up late because I didn't know they changed the times. And so I walked in and I was like, is it over? And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, sorry. And he's like, the club director came over and was like, well, there's another tryout this time or whatever, but you have to pay this much money for it. And immediately, when I saw how much it was, I can't remember what it was, but immediately I was like, oh no, I can't pay for that. And then he was like, why? And I was just like, I'll talk to my grandmother. I was like, I was like, we can't afford that. And so, and I was like done. Like at that point, like I was done because of like, if the child is costing this much, like I can't even imagine what other things were. And I just didn't want to have to ask my grandmother for it because I was very adamant about that. I guess that was my way of like trying to lessen the load, I guess, for her. It's just like not asking her for that type of stuff. So somehow he ended up getting my phone number and he called me, and his name is Sonny Perez, and he's like actually like my godfather now. Me and him have gotten really, really close through this process. And so he called me up and he was like, I think there is a background story to that, and I don't know, but I feel like he may have talked to my cousin, and my cousin may have said, oh yeah, like she doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like her parents aren't there or something along those lines that may have prompted him to having this conversation with me. But he told me to come to tryouts and that I wouldn't have to worry about the tryout fee. And I was like, okay. And so I went to the next tryout. He kind of gave me the laydown of like what it is to pay for the rest of the season after the tryout. And I pretty much told him, I was like, okay, well, I was like, this is fun. I was like, maybe I can do like an area league, maybe, but like I can't do the travel team. It's too much. Club volleyball is very, very expensive. And so I pretty much told him like, no. And then he then followed up with me again and was like, well, we'll go ahead. We decided that we'll go ahead and sponsor you. You can go ahead and we want you to be on this team, blah, blah, blah. And like just ended up changing my life. So he sponsored me for 3 years. 3 club seasons, and sponsor means he really just paid for it out of his pocket. He was a director.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he paid for it out of his pocket, paid for my hotel, my flight, all those things that it takes to be a part of a travel team. Gave me money when I didn't have money to eat while I was on the road. Like,
wow.
Just completely stepped up for me in my life in a way that, not a lot of people take on, or not a lot of people want that. You know what I'm saying? And and we got really, really close. And then he learned more about my background, learned more, and met my grandmother. Now he's like a part of my family, like him and my grandmother. Like he goes and checks on her because I'm not in California for me and stuff like that. Like we've gotten really, really close. But yeah, that's what changed my life. If I wouldn't have had that opportunity, if I wouldn't have had the opportunity, I probably wouldn't have gotten my scholarship to go to Florida State. And that was a pivotal point in my life that literally changed the trajectory of my life and got me to where I am now. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, we could have talked about just your childhood for an hour. That's spectacular. Yeah. But I want to talk about the good side of this. So you go through all of this stuff. You went through the crucible, right? And now a California girl commits to Florida State. How did you go all the way from the West Coast to the swamp?
To
the armpit of America?
Don't say swamp, because that's bad. We're back in Gatorland. I don't claim that. So.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
You can't say swamp. But,
so you went to Florida. You go from West Coast to the East Coast.
There we go, B-Jones. Yes. So I think for me, it was honestly like a way to escape. Like I knew, like when I was going through the scholarship process, I hate to throw our people under the bus, but like my mom didn't know what that meant. And so when I started getting all these letters, she was just any typical person when she thought like, oh, well, you're going to go play ball. I can get some money out of this. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
And she was like trying to but this happens to all, like, I feel like I'm not the only athlete that's experienced that, you know what I'm saying? This does happen.
Yeah,
and, unfortunately, I'm not a guy. So sometimes guys can get they get that setup or whatever from colleges, under the table, whatever that is. But that wasn't something that was for female athletes, And so once my club director once Sonny made me aware of that, I was like, okay. And so I just felt like if I stayed in California, like my mom would kind of follow me or try to like pinch off me. And I just really just wanted to be my own person and kind of like, start over in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been up and down California traveling I played AAU as well and club volleyball. And I was just like, I wanted a fresh start. And so I wanted to go to a big school, a named school, and I didn't want to be in California. Those are like the two things and I was getting scholarship offers in basketball too, but because I played volleyball longer, I had more opportunity in volleyball. And so I was like, all right, there's more options with volleyball. What do I want to do? And so the coach was actually at Arkansas, and he had sent me a letter, and I was like, Arkansas? I never heard of Arkansas. So I was like, nope, like I wasn't even interested. And then he got the job at Florida State. And he recruited me from Florida State. He's like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I was recruiting you from Arkansas. Like, I would love for you to come out here. And I was like, Florida State? And I was like, oh, okay. Like, Florida? Okay, let me try. Let's see what's that about. And I went to campus, and I fell in love with campus. They're very big on tradition and leaving a legacy and like family. And I feel like that was like what I needed at that time as a kid. And so that's why I ended up choosing there. I just felt at home when I got on campus. And, I don't regret that decision at all. Like, I went there, I played 4 years volleyball, was able to play my 5th year basketball. Like, who can, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you hooped at Florida State too?
Yeah, I played for 1 year,
What?
I was rusty as hell by that time, but, it's okay. I loved it. I was just the biggest. And it was a good thing for me, too, because I went from being the superstar volleyball player to now this, like, bench warmer basketball player. And I was just like, wow, this is a lot harder than I thought it was, like, not playing. So, yeah, it was a good. I feel like it humbled me a lot.
So you willing to go on the record and say that Florida State did not give you a duffel bag to recruit you to Florida State?
What do you mean a duffel bag? Oh yeah, like money? Nah. They didn't do that for me.
They didn't give you the keys to a Dodge Charger?
Man, no, because my mom would have been all over that. No, they didn't do that for me.
Nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, I mean, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Well, I got a couple of more things I want to talk about, but I'm gonna let Kev unpack some of this stuff because I'm being selfish right now. I'm being selfish.
I guess we'll give him a chance. I guess you better come correct. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, I'll tell you right now, my favorite football player of all time went to your school.
Deion Sanders.
Yeah,
that's Deion
football player. So if that can get me some brownie points, I hope you just did.
Put some respect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know about all this. All right, so tell us the one thing that volleyball has taught you that you use in everyday life.
I want to say volleyball's taught me probably discipline. And that's a big thing. So it can vary and it can look different ways throughout different phases of your life, right? But I think for me, I feel like there's nothing that I feel like I can't achieve. And I think it's because I know like my discipline and my work ethic. Like when I think about how I was raised or how I grew up and how I got here, I had the opportunity, but I also worked really, really hard. You know what I'm saying? And I also he gave me an opportunity to play a club, and I was on 2 teams, not 1. You know what I'm saying? I was on the area team and so I can get as much, I wanted to maximize my potential. And, I think like that, it just required discipline. Like me doing these honors and AP classes, like my days for high school were long. And then so when I got to college, it was kind of the same thing. Like I had already been doing that for a very long time. Waking up in the morning to go catch the city bus at 6:30. It comes at 7. I had to be at school by 7:30. Class starts at 8, so I can get breakfast because I couldn't, we didn't have money like that, so I had to make sure I was there for breakfast in the morning. Then had to have classes started at 8. Went to 2. After 2, I maybe have like an hour or something of tutoring because I struggled with math. Math and chemistry were not my best friends, and then after that, basketball practice or volleyball practice. And then after that, it was either AU or club volleyball practice. So I would have 2 practices a day. And then after that, it was homework and then sleep. And then I did that all over again. So I was grinding at such a young age that I feel like that established that discipline in me. So that's what I would say. I would say volleyball or, sports in general just kind of helped discipline me and also made me realize, one of my favorite quotes is like hard work pays off. And so if you put in the work, eventually you'll get to where you want to go.
Now, I'm probably going to regret asking this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Say I have a daughter and she's into volleyball. Mm-hmm. Why should I send her to Florida State to play volleyball?
Yeah, because, for one, Florida State, I'm sure a lot of universities are probably like this, but one thing that really was important for me was like the family orientation, because I didn't have that. And like me going across the country too, like I really wanted that. I would also say that they're really big on like, after you're gone, you're still a part of the university. And so like, I still have really, really strong roots. Like I was just talking to Coach Odell Higgins on the phone yesterday, you know what I'm saying? And like, and I've graduated over 10 years ago, you know? So like, you know, like it's just like, I don't say over 10, I think it's like 8, but still. I'm aging myself a little bit more than what I am, but yeah, you know, they are very big about supporting their athletes after, like they want you to be successful. And that's really, really big. The SWA that's there, she played basketball at Florida State, and she's a mentor of mine, you know, for career purposes. So whenever I'm, you know, fully out of volleyball professional, like, and I'm trying to get into that athletic, because I want to work in athletic administration, like she's the one that's been supporting me, helping me with my resume, doing stuff like that, that she doesn't have to do that. You know, she's a busy woman, you know, so like just the fact that, you know, people are taking that initiative, I think that is what makes Florida State special. And then on top of that, like leaving a legacy and like being able to come back and be role models for the girls that are going through, you know, what you went through as well. You know, I actually know Mary Wise, and she's the head volleyball coach at Florida. So, and she's also a really great person. So nothing against the Gators, because they were recruiting me too. So I chose Florida State. But yeah, nothing against the Gators. But yeah, so they have a great program, and I'm always a big supporter of Mary. Like, you know, just for women, a women head coach, you know what I'm saying? Like getting up there and competing with the men and going to Final Fours, like, you know, we got to empower each other. And so even though she's a Gator, like it's nothing but love for her as well. So.
All right, go Gators. So this is the part, Miss Freeman, where I get in your business a little bit, okay? All right, so have you ever heard of Amanda Dowdy and Brad Lawson? Have you ever heard of them? Neither have I. Well, they're a volleyball couple, okay? So let's pretend that...
Did you actually do research on that, Kev?
Yeah, I did. Hold up. Let me finish. All right, so let's pretend that you are Amanda. Is there a Brad in your life?
No. That's your way of asking me if I'm single? Yes, I'm very single.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to date Katie one day, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so that was going to be the next question I was going to ask you. What athlete, if they slid in your DMs, it would be on, so we know it's KD, right?
Yes, but I'm sure he's not going to slide, so it's okay.
Let me ask you a question. Because listen, I'm a married man, but I mean, it's obvious. You're an attractive young lady. I've seen your pictures. I'm curious why, like, a guy's not hitting on you, or is it just too complicated right now with your career, or what's the rationale behind being single?
I think me playing overseas is a big part of why I'm single. I really, not say I like, but I really like want to date like a black man, and typically, you know, you don't find those at the places I played: Hungary, Turkey, the Philippines, Peru, Thailand. Like, they're not there, you know. And I'm over there a big chunk of the year, and then I come back here for the summer. And then when I'm here for the summer, I'm very disciplined, and I'm in the gym training. And you know, I've met guys, but they haven't really, I don't know, they just haven't lived up to the expectations that I want in a partner. And I'm very picky, because I'm wifey material, you know what I'm saying? So I'm waiting for the right one to give like all my energy to. If I wanted to date, I could be dating. Yes, I could have a boyfriend right now. Okay. But I'm waiting for the right one to find.
So before we go to championship, we got to ask you this. You're 6'3". Is there a height requirement?
6 foot and up to rise this way.
6 foot and up? Okay. Really? Oh, my.
Okay, so the reason I asked you that, we have a young lady on our show, which you can watch on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central on YouTube and Facebook. She's 5'10", and she says if a guy isn't 6'2", he does not have a chance. That's why I asked you.
I'll do 6 foot. I'll do 6 foot.
So you dated?
It's about quality too. It's about quality. Not just height isn't everything.
She is so down to earth.
Yeah, Pam, you can learn from her.
Yeah, so quickly, because I mean, there's so much stuff we hadn't talked about. We hadn't talked about the Winning Edge. We hadn't talked about the Mamba, the Mamacita Sports Foundation, but you touched on playing overseas. So tell us a little bit about what you got going on right now with Athletes Unlimited and that pro volleyball league.
Yeah, so right now, obviously I am a volleyball athlete at Athletes Unlimited. We had our first inaugural season this year. It went great. I definitely think a lot of eyes are watching it. So I think next year is going to be bigger and better. Right. I'm a part of the racial equity group within Athletes Unlimited. And basically what that group is kind of entitled to do or like put on their shoulders is trying to bridge the gap and get more minorities into volleyball. And so that's something that I'm really, really obviously all about. And so that's me. I mean, there's a mix. Athletes Unlimited is a platform. There's a couple sports that they have underneath it, softball, lacrosse, and volleyball. So the racial equity group is like members of each of those sports or players from those sports into one group. And so that I'm a part of that. I'm excited. I don't in regards to the future, I haven't signed a contract back with them yet, but I'm very hopeful that I will. They resign every year. I'm pretty sure right now they're trying to get, they want the league to be as successful as possible. So they're trying to get the Olympic players back and stuff like that. And it kind of trickles down to everyone else. I know a couple girls from Athletes Unlimited have already signed to go play overseas and are pursuing different opportunities. However, I definitely do think that the league will be successful. And I think it's going to be a medium because really, as a professional volleyball player, once you graduate college, it's either overseas or work. There's typically no other option. Yeah. And so just being here and being present and giving an option for those girls that are coming out of college to potentially, play in their home country and, work like I did. I was able to work while I was playing, it's huge because that's what they have overseas for everybody else. But for Americans, and I don't want to say the best, but we have a lot of talent here. And so that's why they're hiring all of us to go over there and play, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like being able to have that homegrown talent stay here and, make this league reach its full potential is a great opportunity.
Yeah,
so hopefully I'll still be with them.
I actually saw that y'all came and played here in Dallas. I was bummed. I was like, what are the dates for this? Because I was going to try to come out and see a game. So, and then
also or a shield.
Yeah, and then I saw it gave you the opportunity to meet Maria Taylor, right?
No, so actually I met Maria Taylor before Athletes Unlimited.
Okay.
I'm a little go-getter. So I was trying to figure out what was next for me. I was kind of just debating whether I should retire or not. I was around 27 and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of ready to fulfill, I have different buckets in my life that I want to fill, right? I have my life purpose, I have my career, I really want to be a mom, you know what I'm saying? My family ties, and then my professional volleyball career. And I feel like I've really been filling that bucket. So I'm I kind of want to go into other things. I got my MBA, so I want to kind of focus a little bit more on my career there. And then I want to also, settle down and find somebody. And so I was kind of researching while I was overseas, and I found Maria Taylor's cohort. It's called the Winning Edge. And she basically is trying to get minorities into athletics, whether it's in administration, whether it's in sports commentating. She's trying to help bridge that gap in sports corporate America, I guess you can say. And so I had to fill out an application and applied, and I actually didn't get it the first 2 times I applied, but the 3rd time I got it, and that's how I was able to meet her. And they've been awesome. They send you jobs, and they're references, and they got portrait headshots for you, resume reviews. I was able to make a lot of connections through that program, and that's how I got Mamba Mamacita Sports Foundation as my nonprofit. I brought them in to Athletes Unlimited through that, through the Winning Edge. As you can see, I'm very resourceful. So
yeah, I love it.
If my mind to something, I'm forget it.
KD gonna be lucky to have you. Whenever he wake up, whenever he watch this show, KD gonna be like, all right, let me go slide that DM. All right, you ready to have a little fun with us?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, for you it's fun, but for me and Kevin, this is serious business. You are now entering into the championship rounds. These are a version of Would You Rather. Have you ever played Would You Rather before?
Yes.
All right.
Kind of like never have you ever, right?
Kind of. All right, but this is the deal. The rules are very simple. It's ish. All right. All right. So both Kevin and I will present two statements, two options. You have to select one of those options. You're more than welcome to ask any questions you have to expand, but you cannot manipulate or change those options. After you select the option, all we ask is you just tell us a brief little statement as to why you selected that choice. All right. We're going to play the best of 3 rounds, okay? The first person to 2 wins this episode. And just to give those who have been tracking along with us from day one, the Mouth of the South is right now the current leader in the clubhouse with 14 games to Kevin's 12 games. So it feels really good to be on top. And I plan on stretching this thing out. Another game.
Wait, heck no. Hold up. It's already
Because we family. We doing this thing, man.
Oh, I can't believe this dude just beat Jones.
You came in here with the Gator stuff on. You already knew.
Hey, John.
You did it to yourself, okay?
Cook them, Sareea. Cook them.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Now watch you win. Watch you select all your options. All right, round 1, Sareea Freeman. Here we go. Would you rather coach the Olympic volleyball team for the rest of your career, or
would you rather play once in the Olympics?
Play once in Olympics.
See, I knew that was gonna happen.
Okay, yeah. So
I knew that was gonna happen. I'm finna tighten up though. I'm gonna tighten up. I got some good ones coming, Sareea. Don't worry, I'm not gonna let you down. Come on.
All right. Would you rather get hit in the face trying to make a play and make it onto Sports Center's not top 10, or
would you rather trip and fall in a televised game nationwide trying to make a dig?
I'm gonna trip and fall. I don't want to get blasted in the face. You see my face?
Yeah, it's not looking good for me then. All right, let's go.
I know I'm really bullish about this one too. I don't know. Kevin, after talking to her, it sounds like this one can go either way. So this is truly a 50-50 shot in the dark. All right, for the game, no pressure. Would you rather go back in time 10 years and know what you know now, or
fast forward 10 years and see where you are then?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna have to think about this. Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Take your time.
Go back. Go back 10 years and know what I know now. So then obviously I can change things in my life or fast forward. I would say go back.
Boom!
I was doing from the beginning when she started doing this
in my life.
When she raised the roof, I was done.
I have to think about that though.
Sareea, it feels so good to be a winner. I thank you so much. Hey, because as of right now, I am running away with the competition. Not only have I won the last 4 games, but I came from behind. Kevin had about a 3-game lead on me. I had to come back, eat that lead up, and now I have truly taken over a 3-game lead. The score is now 15-12, and I owe it to the bright and smiling, lovely face of Sareea Freeman.
You won the last 3, by the way. We were tied.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're right, Kevin.
Yeah, you're winning, but
you're right. 3-game win streak. 3-game win streak.
You know, the haterade has to come out at some point, right?
I know. Gators. Go figure. Gators.
Great job, guys. Great job.
All right, Sareea, when you came on the show, it's titled You Got Next. So tell us a little bit about what your future aspirations are. What does the future hold for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I have some things in the works, but I don't know what the future holds, but I'm very, very optimistic. The main thing that I really want to focus on, or a purpose that I want to share, is my story with the world. So thank you guys for taking the opportunity to get me on your show so I can share it here on this platform. I have a couple things in the works. I'm thinking about writing a book about it, and just really trying to inspire, those kids that are coming from difficult backgrounds to understand that through like discipline and hard work that they can achieve, their wildest dreams. I would never thought that I would grow up, not making my volleyball team my freshman year and growing up. And then now I'm a professional volleyball player. I've been able to travel across the country to play the sport that I grew in love with. So yeah, that's pretty much what my purpose I feel like is. And, I really just want to be a beacon for hope for those kids. And so I'm really big on giving back to the community, which is why I enjoy coaching volleyball. Outside of that, I want to work in sports at some point. So I'm trying right now, like now that the job market has opened up a little bit, I'm looking to, find a position there and really kind of hone in on that as well. And then hopefully, continue to play with Athletes Unlimited. And that's pretty much what my life is. I do have a couple of opportunities to go overseas, but I really am not sure about that right now because I am kind of focusing a little bit more on my career side. So we'll see, but, big decisions coming up, but my future is bright. So I'm really content. I'm happy that, God has had a hand in my life and that has put me in the position that I am because, without certain people popping in my life at specific times, I could have ended up somewhere else. So
hey, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't make his varsity team his freshman year either, right?
He got cut.
You got a lot in common with the GOAT, right? So I'm gonna make my daughter watch this whole episode. Like you sit there and you watch it. I don't never make her watch, but there's folks out there sleeping in cars who still fighting and battling for life. So I love that story. Right. Hey, any shout outs? Any loved ones you want to show? So I know we got Coach 𝐥𝐤𝐬. We already represented Coach Odell Hagens in the building. Who else you want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, no, I'll give a shout out to all the significant people in my life, my friends, my family, specifically my godmother, my mom, my grandmother, Sonny, my godfather, everyone that's been here, and helped me through my life, helped me to get to this point. Like, even though they may not have, the means to do everything, they were significant in my life and they did change my life for the better. And I'm truly blessed to have all of them. So.
And where can Sports Life Talk Nation find you? Where can people follow you and keep up with your story?
Yeah, so you can go at Monet_22 on Instagram. I have a TikTok, I'm present, _ Ria, REA 22. Not very active on Twitter, but I do have a Facebook page for my volleyball fans out there. It's just Sareea Freeman on at Facebook. That's my Facebook page name. And then I also have a YouTube channel underneath my name as well. So yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you got some big fans now. Well, Kevin gonna take off that ugly sweatshirt and we're gonna be rocking with you.
Right.
Sareea Freeman, you got next. We want to thank you so much for joining the show. We're gonna be following your story every step of the way. And when you say I do to Kevin Durant, we're gonna probably be somewhere in the building. Hopefully we get Kevin Durant on the show.
Hey, bro, if you speak this into existence and like 5 years down the road I am married to him, I'm gonna remember this so bad.
All right, show everybody your t-shirt. Show everybody your t-shirt real quick. You wore that t-shirt. It's got significance. Yeah. We got Chadwick Boseman, Kobe, Nip. Yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
All right, that's fire. All right, well, we want to thank y'all for rocking with us. One more again, if you're a friend of Sareea's or a fan of the show, we want to tell you we appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, leave some comments, wishing the best of luck, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Now, remember, the reward for following instructions is that you get notified every single time Kevin and I drop an exciting bombshell explosive episode of You Got Next, and you will be privy to a front row seat Wednesday nights at 8:00 p.m. Central Standard Time when Kevin and I go live with the crew. We talk everything from sports, life, love, alcohol, sports, tennis, sneakers. It don't matter. We touch every subject out there because you know why? Because it's Sports Life Talk. Remember, y'all take care of one another. Y'all stay safe, stay blessed. We love y'all, and we will see y'all again next time on Sports Life Talk. You Got Next. Yeet!
Yeah.
Lil' baby say I'm fly, she see me. I know I got a giant in the drip, but I double cause I'm tired of the vibe, she clingy. And I don't play around with the wrist, when I get it, you already know the vibe, it's VVs. I swear I feel alive when I'm in the yo into the AM, making vibes on repeat. And I ain't gotta lie, you see these. She said she wanna vibe, she need 3. Each one for my boys, my teamies. Swimming through the riches with my squad, believe me. Iced out Audemars, Philippe's. Big dog since a jit, know I'm 8. Cook and let them know I'm different raw with the apron. Do this for my sons, I know it's mine for the taking. Lil' baby look like she the type that be playing. Slide and I skate this. She done me probably thinking who this. Yeah, money now it's funny how I see the mood switch. But boy, lame girl, funny how the two mix. So I got them uptight, now they got the loose lips. Want the doors with a suicide on it. If I'm winning, gotta put my slimes on it. I ain't buying no Gucci or Prada. That she my man, and it's proof of her solid. Drip the finesse like Kyrie. Young man with his own brand, I designed it. Whole gang got a wrist spring cause I iced it. No name in my domain, I'm the nicest. Game, no, I used to dream of the diamond. Two bad things I'm in between like a hyphen. Drip when I pull up.